throughout my 30 years of being a medium, I have had some strange questions. These are not as bad as some of them, but just to give you an overall impression of what sort of questions as a medium I get asked. Number one is, do spirit follow you home? I think that's more to do with the paranormal. That people are always worried that, they get followed home by the spirit. A good medium on a paranormal event should seal the place to ensure that the spirit do not follow home. But you can talk about spirit, you can talk about the event and reconnect to the place, which means that they can get down the energy lines. So yes, there is a possibility that you can be followed, but a good medium, as I say, should ensure that you are safe and sound. There's few strange ones have been that I've had people that have had visitations to their place and everything like that I've had to go into deal with. I've even had people that think they've been touched by spirit. But a lot of the times, as long as you don't allow spirit, remember, you are in charge. No spirit can touch you or harm you or do anything to you unless you allow them. And so in a lot of these cases, people have threatened spirit, or they've allowed situations to occur, and then all of a sudden it's gone out of control, and then they call me in. So do spirits follow you home? Can do, but there's many ways to stop. You have a family connections in spirit who is always protecting you. There's a lot of different ways that you are protected, so it's not normally too much of a issue. But even objects, objects you've bought can hold spirit connection in there, as I say. But it tends to have to be a lot of emotions for them to be able to do stuff and anything. The second one, have you fallen in love with a spirit? No, I haven't fallen in love with the spirit. I don't know what it'd be like, and not something I've ever thought about doing. I have, like again, back to the paranormal, I did have a friend who went on an event, and there used to be what we call the Lady of the Night at this place. And the story went that the American had been, and he actually didn't bring his wife the next time because he had a lot of fun in bed with a spirit, with a lady. And I have actually been to a lot of houses where a few ladies have been affected by, I don't think a man would actually admit it, except for my friend who called me up. He said he was all right having a bit of pleasure and one thing and another. And I thought, so, is he on drugs or is he a drink? But I don't think he had much. But he did, first time he ever been on a paranormal event, and he went to the same place that this American had been to, and this room was known. There was a lady of night who did her thing, sort of thing. So I went around his place, and the only reason why he called me was that in the olden days, the actual, I don't know, you wouldn't call him a pimp in the olden days, but the person that looked after the lady came through as well, and obviously scared the absolute life of him, seeing this big burly bloke going mad about him. And this used to happen also at one of the paranormal events that we went to. So yeah, I'm not falling in love, but there is occasions where people fall in love with spirit world. I've had quite a few, because there's supposed talk that I have a twin in spirit, and a few people have mentioned that they've seen me at night, and I've said, you haven't seen me, love, because there's no way I'd be visiting you, because I don't do that sort of thing. You know what I mean? But they might have had might be a chance that I have a twin mother in spirit world, so there could be some visitations from my twin. He's been banned from doing that now, so that's one good thing that I've not had to worry about. Okay, question 3. Have you met someone from your past life? Actually, yes. This was a very strange. I met a lady in Ireland who I'd had 3 past lives with. And her family thought that, in the spirit world, thought I was like a light worker, because supposedly I'd been protecting her for years. She had a lot of history in to do with witches and one thing and another, and she was a very powerful lady. I mean, the strange things that she could do. She was able to speak to me even from Ireland. I didn't even know what she looked like. I just knew her as a friend on the internet. And one time before I phoned her to speak to her, she actually spoke in my ear, which freaked me out, but it was her voice. So she was a very powerful lady, and I think her family, the story was that her family was trying to gain this power back or whatever that she had, because she worked a lot in the light and everything like that. And so when I went to meet her in Ireland, it brought up 3 past life issues where I was a monk and I was searching for her. And so I've always been searching for that soulmate or soul friend that supposedly would complete my life, but it was too much for her. We had 2 weeks of real good enjoyment, but the intense love and everything was just so much that it scared the living daylights out of her. I was used to it because I'd tap into a lot of soul friends and feel the energies of one another. But I think I was sent to help her, and that could be also the love connection happens when you meet a soul friend or a soulmate who you're meant to help, or they help you, or to realize that can feel unconditional love, and that you can share this beautiful experience. And so, yes, and it also helped me to release a lot of stuff. I was frightened of losing my son, and supposedly in her past life, she had to give me up for her son, for our son, sort of thing. And also, we were part of different clans, and that had issues. And as I say, when I was a monk, they stopped me from seeing her, and then I went on a spiritual journey, searching for her, and also spreading the word of spirituality. And so, when I thought that I'd meet her, that would be it. We'd be not separated for life. But her human experience and human part of her couldn't handle the love that we'd shared in the past life. So that one had to be sort of. So then I realised that not every soulmate that comes your way is meant for this life. But the experience was incredible. I mean, the connection and the things that we could share was immense. So that was quite a cool experience. Can you see spirit around me? I'm always told, oh, is my parents around me? Is my grandma here? Or this, that, and the other. With me, it's basically I have to ask them to show themselves, so they might send an image into my head. Earlier on in the career, it was a case that it takes a lot of energy for a spirit to show, especially like in paranormal or whatever. So basically, I used to say to them, show themselves, and they show parts of them. I'd have to give them energy to make it fully formed. Now, I do get a lot more. I mean, there's been some incredible occasions when, like, especially in paranormal and stuff, when I'm standing there talking to somebody behind the bar, and actually he's spirit. I didn't even realise at the time. So it's quite strange. Sometimes it's like watching a home video when you see spirit, but a lot of the times it takes a lot of energy, and so that's why we don't always, or you see them out the corner of your eye, because your eyes are focused and on trying to work out what it is you're doing. I mean, some people, I've known a few people who see them just walking around, talking and everything, which is, I have also had visions like I touch objects in places, and they give me a brief picture of what it was like and what was happening in psychometry type effect, or trapped energy in walls and one thing or another, which is amazing. I love those sorts of experiences. But on the whole, I can see it, which is strange, probably because I don't mind them talking to me. I don't mind them there. Probably if I saw a lot more of them, I probably would have been scared. So, which sounds strange from coming from a medium. But when you're late at night and then you're driving home, and all the people after a tour in the country, and you've got people in your car, or from family members who think because you've given their friends and family a reading that they can talk to you on the way home. So I had to learn to sort of like switch off and make sure that I didn't bring them home, sort of thing, with me, or sit in the car, sort of thing, because from doing like days of readings, you really are quite connected, and so it's easier for the spirit world to come through. Do you talk to spirit all day long? No, I only use the energy when I'm helping people, or when I'm creating, or when I'm channeling, or I do not talk to spirit all day long. I'm not saying I can't, but it's not like conversations. When I first started out, it wasn't like conversations. I mean, now, because I've learnt through all my experience to build the energies up and everything, I can actually sit there and talk to spirit, but it's not like a conversation. Remember, they're using all my senses to send pictures and images, and it depends on how good your energy is, whether they can talk to you for long periods of time. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it takes so much energy for them to talk that often they don't. They show it in picture form, or they show it in other ways. So that's why I say to you that sometimes it's a case of that you have to get connected. And the more in nature I am, the more I can communicate easier with them. So I do find that is a plus side of things. But no, do I want spirit all day long talking to me? No. Is it nice when it happens? Yes. They send me now, because I'm closed off quite a lot, to actually speak to the spirit, because there's so many different spirits that can talk to me. Once I open the door fully, it's like I've got like 50 voices talking to me. So it was, and my fear from when I was in my 20s, when I went to abroad and opened up properly, the scare still of hearing 50 voices still haunts me to this day. I mean, I've dealt with it, and I understand it was teaching me to get the one voice of the universe, but when I channel, but at that time, you imagine just hearing a room full of people talking where you're sitting. It is scary stuff. So yeah, it's not sort of thing that I do. And I also don't like to be bothered at night times, because I have like sleep paralysis and sleep apnea and stuff like that. So I need my sleep at the moment, because I've had quite a few years without proper sleep. Because I was clever enough, I wanted to get myself connected. Oh, well done, Steve. Do you know what I mean? So what we'll do is we'll make sure that you don't sleep as much. You know what I mean? That you actually stop breathing, so that you're more connected to the spirit world. Yeah, oh great. Super order. Super order. Number 6, you can't be that good if you don't know my name. It's quite funny when I used to do readings and one thing and another. People, oh, you're not that good, you don't even know my name. Well, not being funny, I'm getting names from the other side to give to you. And so sometimes they might mention your name, but I don't tune into the person until they ask for a reading or they ask for help or whatever. So I'm not going to get the name. Do you know what I mean? It's the thing. I mean, the message is from spirit world, so I have to be asked to tune in, I mean, there has been some funny times when, because a lot of my friends were skeptics, being in the football industry and one thing or another. And I remember travelling along in the van, and we were having a right good laugh, and they were asking me questions about, what I do and how it come it's freaky that when they're around me, things happen, or they see things, or they bump into people that they've just mentioned, or this sort of thing. And I remember travelling along, because I'm a bit of a wind-up merchant, I must admit, about this ability, because I've spent 20 odd years, being called a freak, and the minute it starts to become accepted, I'm now some rogue person when it comes to healing and doing psychic stuff. So you can't really win. So I sometimes have a laugh with it. And so sometimes when they're really winding me up in the cab, because I used to help them out in doing some building work and one thing and another, I'd go, oh, God, they've had a bad life. Oh, I feel so sorry for them. Oh my God, I can't believe. And they always turn around and they go, what's happened, Steve? What's happened, Steve? And then I just start laughing. And so it still shows that people are still interested in people's lives and still interested in, in things that happen, stuff like that. But I mean, it is a bit of a wind up. The one thing I've learned through all of my life is do not get involved in people's businesses until you're asked. And the one scary thing is, why would I want to know everybody else's business in my head when I got enough to deal with my own business in my head? So everybody I meet, I do not tune in. I mean, there's some people. I was at a party once, and one of the ladies' 30th, and she said, "Oh, my boyfriend is sort of like he sort of wants to meet you, but he doesn't want to meet you. He's a bit worried what you'll find out. You know what I mean? What's going on." And so it's the first time I was known as the psychic at a party, rather than being Steve and this, that, and the other. And anyway, I sat next to the guy, and he'd been like hiding from me all night. And he says, "Oh, I don't believe in all of this, but you know what I mean? Could you give me a few bits and pieces?" I says, "Yeah." I says, "You're a bit of a ladies' man, aren't you?" Do you know what I mean? He went bright red. He went bright red. Now, it eventually came out that the girlfriend, who was one of my friends, knew that he'd had a sort of like a girlfriend on tow sort of thing, and he was promising that he was going to leave her and this, that, and but his face was, now, don't get me wrong, I don't get information like that all the time and this, that, and the other, and it was very strange that I blurted that out, because it's not the sort of thing I would actually say, but I just said that they're telling me that you're a bit of a ladies' man and you like the women a lot, sort of thing. And oh my God, you should have seen his. I laugh about it now, but it's not the sort of thing that you come out. I'm always trying to be positive with my information, because it is guidance and one thing or another. But sometimes the spirit will make me blurt out things, and I think, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. Really, that's not really for me to say or judge. And working with children, and I find that because you're dealing with parents who are obviously not always been the best for the children, you've got to learn to switch off, because you're dealing with people that you might not like, but that child has got a parent, it's got a mother or a father, and so you need to sort of like be a bit more conservative, or a bit more sort of like, you know what I mean. There's all reasons why things happen in life, and so you have to be very careful. Okay, next one. Is working with spirits scary? I think sometimes when you don't know about what's happening, or why you're feeling this, or why you get certain things or stuff like that, it can be a bit of a scary world. It can be one of worry and this, that, and the other. But overall, it's quite a wonderful experience, really. But there is scary moments. I mean, I still get the odd visit at night, or I go to a paranormal event, or I go to a place and see the cruelty that's gone on and what's happened to people, and this, that, and the other. So, there is parts of it, but overall, I wouldn't be without it, because the benefits to being a medium or a channeler, or being able to tap into the universe, or be able to find information out, or be able to help somebody clear that emotion that's caused them so much pain and suffering is incredible. And so it is a gift and a curse at the same time. But I'm finding now more peace with it, and finding now more happiness with it, due to the fact that I'm understanding it more. And I think the more that you work with it, the more you understand it, the more it less sort of scary it becomes. And I think that is the key to it all. Right, number 8. Can you see your future? Everybody's fascinated about the future. Now, when I'm doing readings for people, sometimes the odd moment of future stuff comes through, and it tends to be cryptic, not to change the people's path, or what they're going to achieve. So you have to be very careful with the future. For myself, I get deja vu, which is basically like before something happens, a moment in time, I see the image of what's going to happen. I even met my best mate at uni. I knew before I met him, because I'd had deja vu of a scenario, and then the scenario gets played out. So I do believe that you're always being guided, you're always being shown things, and you're always being pushed in a direction. Whether you accept them or choose to do those is your thing. I mean, precognitive is basically you might get a flash of an event in the future. It doesn't mean you're meant to change it or anything. It's just showing you that there is being guidance, and there's information for you and stuff like that. You can actually do like, if I don't know if anybody's tried this, but I sometimes, just to be nosy sort of thing, I know that my in psychometry you can go to past, present, and future, and it's basically what I get when I do psychometry on someone's timeline is that I see images. You imagine like little images, like when you're making up a video or whatever. And sometimes I scroll forward and I will get information for other people. I've not done that much for myself, because I'm quite happy with whatever comes along, happens, and basically. But it might be something for me to have a little go at. But it's quite fascinating when you go up the timeline, and you see images of future events, and that's a little bit how they give me information sometimes is, but you can't feel the future. You can feel now and the past, but you can't feel the emotion or the energy from a future. That's like if you use a crystal ball, it's the same. You might get images of a future event, and if you do a crystal ball, which I've got on my mediumship pack here, you can go future into the crystal ball, and it will show you events for the future. But there's no feeling to it, so you can't feel whether it's right or wrong. So you have to just give what you see, what the image is shown, or what the scenario is shown, sort of things. But it is fascinating. So future stuff is certainly can be, but they're very careful in how they give you the information. A lot of it's cryptic, so that your body doesn't reject it, or you don't focus on it. And a lot of people have said to me, "Oh, what you've told me has come true. I understand now." What you were trying to say, but there's some bits, because just until it happens, you don't understand what it is that the guidance is sometimes. So yeah, Number 9, can you give me the lottery numbers? You know what? If I had a power for every time someone asked me, when I used to do telephone conversations, I got the odd person, oh, give me the lottery numbers. Don't you think that I might not be wanting to get the lottery numbers for myself, even though it wouldn't work that way in the sense that, I know some people call it a gift, even though I think the message is a gift. Sometimes you've got to be careful of the boundaries of crossing them and utilizing what I call this lovely sort of connection, for certain things. I mean, I have scared a few people by sitting there in front of the TV and starting saying the numbers beforehand, and them coming up, sort of thing. And I remember my ex-wife who dreamt that Derby County beat Man United by 3 goals. And it was funny because that day I went down to the lottery ticket because I worked for the football club, and there was 2 tickets there. And I rang the secretary and says, well, they've not collected these Man United tickets. He says, well, take them and go, because there's no way they're going to get there, and you probably won't get there. So we raced, and I think we made it into the ground at 3:05, dumped the car outside the Man United stadium, which I don't think we could possibly do now. And we got to see Paolo, centre forward, score 3 goals, but we never could get a bet on beforehand. So sometimes you're given information and you just can't get the bet on, you know what I mean, sort of thing. And it's the first time I think Man United, that Derby had ever scored by 3 goals at Man United. So I think it was 3-1 in the end. So it was an absolutely incredible experience. But I must admit, I did try and wake the ex-wife up a few times to get any more information. No, I'm only kidding, but it is fun to do that. So yeah, lottery numbers. Really, that's all I could say. Why can't mediums get messages for themselves? I think a message. I'm actually can now. I've done like a linking to loved ones, which basically helps mediums as well as people to connect to their loved ones. There is also emotional connection which the body rejects due to pain and guilt and suffering, and so it is harder when it's somebody because you're always doubting the information, or you're doubting that it is that person, or that person that you really, really want to speak to, like my grandma or whatever, but we have signs now, so I know when she's around, and I know when she wants to talk to me, and one thing and another. So get your symbol sign so you know when they're around is the easiest way. But it's a lot harder for mediums because most of the time we're just dealing with people that we're just getting information for. So that's okay. It's easy then. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't know the people. But when you know people, there's an emotional attachment involved, and that's why. Well, thank you for sharing an experience. And we're going to be doing loads of stuff for you to experience through my mediumship course and my medium meditations, and just my spiritual journey. And there's like 7 different topics I'm going to be doing from time to time, just to get you to open up and connect and enjoy the experience that I have for the last 10 years soul searching and 30 plus years as a medium. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments or inbox me. There's my email there. And so get involved. When we share, we both become the pupil and the teacher. I learn through sharing, and that's why I do all this, because I've been on my journey and I want other people to share in the experience.